Hi, I'm Richard Rogers, and I absolutely hope that you enjoy today's spiritual message. You know, we at Unity of Phoenix Spiritual Center are committed to helping people live better lives. We're going to provide you tools over and over, spiritual tools that allow you to live your best possible life. And if you want to leave a donation to continue to allow the work that we do to support other people just like you, we say thank you. Thank you for your generosity, because this ministry is committed to making the world a better place.
Okay, so tonight we start a series, takes us now into Thanksgiving, and it's going to be focused on transformation. And how many of you would be willing to be transformed? Fabulous. Okay, great. So I got a couple follow-up questions. You ready for my follow-up questions? So would you say that, can you turn me down just a little bit? I know I asked to be up louder, but now it's too much. Because I'm about to get excited, and if you start me out there, I have no place to go. That's better, okay. So let me ask you this. Would you say, if this is kind of the pendulum in the middle, would you say that you kind of lean toward the positive or the negative in your life? If you tell yourself the truth, you're not going to have to raise your hand where your family doesn't get a vote. This is just between you and you. Would you say that as a general rule, are you more of a positive person or are you more of a negative person? You don't have to say it out loud. I just want you to kind of make a mental note. Now, I'm going to ask even a deeper question. When it comes to your self-talk and the way that you speak about yourself to you, just to you, like in your private, crazy inner world, right? Is it more on the positive side or the negative side? Right? They were murmuring over that one. There's a little bit of murmur in the room over that one, right? Okay, because can you see the difference? When you ask those two questions, did your answer change from those two questions? Well, we got a few honest people. Thank you. All right. Now I got one more question for you, okay? Do you think of yourself as kind of a big picture person, or do you kind of sometimes get lost in the weeds? Do you know what I mean by that? So can you kind of keep a 60,000 view of your life and what's going on in the world? Or do you kind of get locked in the details and kind of sometimes worry and fret in the details of life? Anybody want to take that one on? How many of you see yourself as a big picture person? How many of you sometimes get lost in the weeds? Anybody? Great. This is what we're going to talk about. So over the next 5 weeks or so, next 4 weeks, we're going to talk about transformation. Now, when we talk about transformation, usually what we talk about is an idea that says, this is who I am now, and somehow I'm going to be transformed into something else. Right? So we have this belief, by and large, that that we're living a version of ourselves right now that's okay, but it's not a whole lot, right? And that we're going to be transformed into something better, right? And that's what we want. I mean, we come to positive places like this, and we work on ourselves, and we read all these books, and we do all this stuff so that we can actually become a better version of ourselves, right? And sometimes we spend a lot of time and energy working on a better version of ourselves. And what if transformation doesn't exactly work like that? And what if transformation isn't really about you trying to fix you? Because there's this belief that in the whole reason for self-help is the idea that your ego can fix you. Right? And that's what the whole is based on, is if I read this book, they're going to teach me how to fix myself so that I can show up in a better way. And we love that concept because we have this basic belief that we're not quite right the way we are now. And if we read this book or we take this seminar or we do this thing, it's going to show me how to fix myself. right? And I want to be a better person. Anybody not want to be a better person? We all want to be a better people, right? So we have this ingrained belief within us that we want to be a better person because we know that the person that we are right now is kind of nice. You know, we can kind of clean up when we have to, right? But it's not quite right, right? So let's go to another image. So this is you, or this is your, wait, I'll even give you a happy face. Okay, so this is you, right? And this is who you've been told you are your whole life, plus or minus, right? So this is, this isn't a very happy you, but right? Let me see if I can help him. And now he's a pumpkin. Right? So this is you. But that doesn't really good at all. That's kind of scary. I didn't say you were really attractive. I just said this was you, all right? 7th grade art class is as far as I got. Don't blame me. I can't help it, all right? All right, so this is you. Now, you've been believing that this is who you are pretty much your whole life, okay? So you have this concept. So adorable. Like a face only a mother could love, right? So adorable, right? So you've been believing yourself that you're this your whole life, right? Now, when you believe that you're this, you have all these lists of all the things that you've decided are wrong with you. These are all our lists. These are all the things that would make us better people, fix us, solve our problems. We have all these lists, right? And the problem is that we keep trying to transform this person into the next version of that person, but we miss the point. And the point that I really want to talk about, what transformation really is that this is who you really are, right? This may be who you think you are, but you were created in the image and likeness of God, okay? So we have this model of transformation that is like this idea that we're going to go to a body shop and they're going to put a new thing of paint on us and buff out our fenders and put maybe new wheels, new tires, and maybe new carpet in the interior, and we're going to come out, we're going to look better. And for many of us, our spiritual background told us that we were not quite right. Anybody raised in an environment that we're told you were a worthless sinner? Right. So if you're raised in an environment where you're told that you're a worthless sinner, your image of you is 100% impacted by that. And the idea that most of us got was that we are kind of okay the way we are, we're semi-okay, or we're not quite right, and that we're going to transform into something else that would be better. And so we work really, really hard at continually trying to fix ourselves and solve our problems and do all the things that we think we can do to make ourselves more better. Don't email me, I know, all right? To make ourselves better. But it only keeps us at the level of human foibles. Because the reality is, if you're really created in the image and likeness of God, if this is who you really are, if this is the magnificence that you were born to express, then we really have to see this before we can get lost in the weeds about trying to change all the little details that you think are wrong with you. See, one of the most difficult parts of this spiritual process is seeing yourself in the light of God. Because most of us were not brought up thinking we were that special. And if we were told that we were special because we were smart, or because we were good looking, or because we were athletic, or because we were funny, or whatever it was, right? We had the thing that defined us as being special, but we didn't really ever get the idea that we were special because we're God's Spirit expressing. We are the glory of God manifesting. And that what I'd really like you to see as we go through this journey of transformation is, in a very real way, I'm not trying to change you. I don't care if you come through this whole 5 weeks and you're just as much of a dork in the beginning as you are at the end, right? Right? Because your dorkiness does not limit the glory of God that's within you. Is that true? But what I want you to begin to see is, I want you to take a step back from the way that you see yourself and to begin to see yourself with new eyes. To not actually transform yourself at all, but to simply see yourself differently. And in seeing yourself differently, it would be the greatest transformation that you could undergo. Because what if that before you start trying to fix the fact that you're procrastinator, whatever it is, what if you, before you try to fix that stuff, you have to see yourself rightly? You have to see the real person. Because if we just work on the weeds, we miss the good news. And the good news is that each one of us has a human personality. And some of our personalities are this or that, and some of us are charming, and some of us are funny, and some of us are cute, and some of us are smart, but we just have a human personality. And some are this and some are that, but they're just the way they are. And we get so lost in trying to fix and solve and work on this level that we never look up far enough to see who we really are. And what if, for the next 5 weeks, you literally do not get to put yourself down? What if for the next 5 weeks, you have to actually on a regular basis celebrate all of you? And what I want you to begin to look at is, stop defining yourself by your worst thing that you believe about yourself. And what if you began to define yourself by your greatness, by your totality, by the Spirit of God? Because this is the great transformation. This is what every spiritual master has come to understand. That they literally believe that they are created in the image and likeness of God. So, let's go to Scripture. From 2 Corinthians. But we all, with unveiled faces, right? Unveiled faces. Take it off. All the old ideas, all the old beliefs, all the old shame, take it off. With all unveiled faces, behold and reflect like a mirror the glory of God. See, this is tough stuff. Because it's actually easier to believe that you're a low-life scumbucket, right? It's actually easier to believe that than to believe that you're created in the image and likeness of God. It's actually easier to believe that you're broken than you're whole and magnificent and lacking in nothing. Let me continue. But we, with unveiled faces, beholding and reflecting like a mirror the glory of God, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, even as the Lord's Spirit. So I want you to get this, right? Because this is hard. Because it's so much easier to find all the things that are wrong with you. Your ego loves that. Your ego does love it when you find all the things that are wrong with you, because now it gives yourself something to fix. And your ego loves to try to find things to fix about you, right? It will make problems up just so it has a purpose. But what if in 5 weeks you had to see yourself in the way that God sees you? What if every day between now and Thanksgiving you had to give thanks that you were created in the image and likeness of God until you could really feel it? See, this is tough stuff. You know, if somebody says, you know, well, you're this or that, we may get mad at them. We may resent that they said that about us, because at some level we believe they're right. That the most derogatory things that anyone's ever said about you, at some level when we get so upset about it, is because we believe they're right. And so we have to defend ourselves that the jig's up, that they finally figured us out, that we're really not all that. But the truth is, you were born that. You were born to express the glory of God. And all the little weeds that you've believed about yourself, all the things about your face and your life and your nose and all the stories and all the drama have just clouded your ability to say. Romans 12:2. And do not be fashioned according to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the will of God, which is good and well and pleasing and perfect. Okay, so you ready for the challenge? And it's 2 weeks ago when I was talking about the who and the question, the who, I gave you 3 things, and I want to come back to them because I think they're important. So here's the challenge. For the next 5 weeks, that's a B. I want you to celebrate everything about you. I want you to celebrate your strengths. I want you to celebrate your weaknesses. I want you to celebrate everything about you. I want you to celebrate the things that you're ashamed of and the things that you love about you. I want to see if you can get into the place where every part of you can celebrate, so that you can see every part of you as created in the image and likeness of God, that every part of you was created through God's eyes, that every part of you was created to be, that was whole and complete and lacking in nothing. I want you to see if you can celebrate everything. Now, is this going to move you into conflict with your self-talk? Yes. Are you going to be able to find 100 things every day that are wrong with you? Yes, thank you. Right? So, but what if your work over these 5 weeks is, I got to celebrate it all? I got to celebrate it all. Oh, I missed that one, or I'm lazy, or I'm whatever. Celebrate it. Celebrate it. Celebrate it. That every time your mind wants to make it a problem, no, I don't do that, I celebrate it. Every time your mind wants to tell you you're not enough, I celebrate me anyway. That your focus between now and Thanksgiving is celebrate everything. Well, Richard, I'm just going to be just sitting on the couch eating bonbons, celebrating that I'm a big sluggo. Okay, right? That if for 5 weeks you got to be a big sluggo, would the universe stop moving? No. Because what I know is true is that once you give yourself permission to celebrate everything, you're going to find yourself. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to celebrate everything. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to forgive. Okay? I want you to forgive everything. I want you to forgive all your judgments. I want to forgive you to forgive the times in the past when you've beat yourself up. I want you to forgive the times when your personality or your behavior negatively impacted anybody. I want you to forgive. I want you to forgive. I want you to forgive. But you don't get to forgive it or change it before you do what? Celebrate it. So celebration, celebration, celebration. And then you can just tell the truth. Oh, I need to forgive that. That time, that situation, that act, that choice, that thought, that was painful, and I forgive. I forgive, I forgive, I forgive. And then the third one is then I release it. I celebrate it, I forgive it, and I release it. Because the more we move energy, the more it can be transformed into the next greatest version of ourselves, and so that we don't get stuck. Right? Have you ever had a belief about yourself that you were really stuck over? And no matter how many times somebody told you were smart, you didn't really believe them. No matter how many times somebody told you were pretty, you didn't really believe them. No matter how many times somebody maybe told you were good, you didn't believe them, because we get stuck. The human condition tends to be that we crystallize about beliefs, that we crystallize about things, especially negative things, and we hold on to them. What if for the next 5 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is, between now and Thanksgiving, your only job is to celebrate everything. Forgive everything and give it all to God. So I want you to give God your strengths, your weaknesses. I want you to give God your hopes and your dreams. I want you to give God what you want and what you're afraid of. I want you to give it all away. I want you to release it all. That for the next few weeks, your job, this invitation to transformation, is about you being willing to see yourself no longer as broken. Wouldn't that be great? If you didn't see yourself as broken anymore. If you didn't even have a slight little thing that wiggled in there that said, but you're not really quite good enough. And if people find out you're really not quite good enough, your life's really not going to work the way it works right now. And they're going to find out eventually that you're not quite good enough. What if we can change that? Will you say with me, I celebrate it all. Together? I celebrate it all. I forgive any harm that it's ever done. Do you hear me? I forgive any harm that it's ever done. And I release it now to God. Together? And I release it now to God. That over and over and over again, we come back to these 3 points. Celebrate everything. Well, Richard, celebrate it. Forgive it. Release it. Celebrate it, forgive it, release it. Will you pray with me? And I invite you to open your mind, your heart, your soul to the activity of God that is right here, right now. And I want you just to breathe into that truth. That you were created in the image and likeness of God. And today we begin a process of releasing all the old concepts and beliefs and ideas about ourselves, to change ourselves at depth and yet really not change ourselves at all. In a very real way, to be that which we've always been, but to fully believe and understand that we are created in the image and likeness of God. That we accept this invitation to transformation. That we are willing to be made new from the inside out. That we are willing to see ourselves the way God sees us. That we are willing to let go of all the broken ideas and concepts and stand in the glory of God. In the name and through the power of the living Christ, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.